Well, not as foggy as last week, but the difference between today and the last session, match anglers haven't got this one booked, so I'm going to fish here. As you can see, I'm fishing right beside the car park. The field's still a swamp. I just took a bit of a walk through it, and no, I'm not sitting in a swamp all day. But this is the River Erne. That direction is Cleanish Island. That direction is the marina that we were fishing last week with the arsehole boaters. And if you follow the river that way, you go back to Enniskillen. So, that's where we are. We know what we're going to do. So, roll the credits. Sorry, roll the intro. Maybe you're a first time visitor here. Nice to see you. If you like what you see, feel free to click the like, the subscribe and the little bell thingy. Go on, do it now. I'll wait. Do it now. Looks like it could be another day spent under the brolly. It's raining. Poo. But got two rods out, got a big eel head on and a pollen on. I'm fishing the river. I'm fishing just up from the marina where I was last week, and I'm hoping that I don't have any boat humans this week. But it's Saturday. I'm only going to get out the one day this weekend, because tomorrow I have Remembrance Sunday duties to do. So we're going down to a little town called Castlederg. Castlederg has the dubious honour of being the most bombed town from the Troubles here in Northern Ireland. It's where my mother and her family all grew up. So we're going down there for the Remembrance Sunday services down there. It's important that you remember the past. Like, I'm a bit of a history nerd, and I'm a veteran, so marking the Remembrance weekend is a big deal for myself. But the river's moving. The river isn't so clean. There's still a lot of weed and rubbish coming down, but won't let that deter us. I'm going to have my cup of coffee. I'm going to try and use the tippy monkey to cook some bacon, make a bacon sandwich. And if it decides to, fall off the stove today, then it's getting thrown in the river. Reg monkey. But I'll see you in a wee while.
Later.
I had a run. Yep, I had a run. Unfortunately, you're not seeing me holding a picture of a pike, because the run went wind down, strike, I felt knock knock, and it was off. And it made off with my pollen, so I have to replace the pollen with a smelt, in the hope that it likes smelt too. But that was the margin sort of rod. That was the rod that was only about 12 foot from the bank. Just as it goes from, it's off the bank, it drops down to about 5 feet. Then just about 10 to 12 feet out from the bank, it drops down into, it drops down into about 15 feet. So I'm just fishing in that deep trench. It's the trench that they've cut out for the boats. But anyway, it's a run, and it's all good. It means that there's pike in the river. It means that they're interested in feeding. So hopefully, cross the fingers, I'll have something to show you later on. Hopefully. Please, for the love of Christ. I have to clarify something from last week's blog. Last week, the pike anglers who took, allegedly, took the sign down and threw it in the bin and winded up the match guys, the guys that were the fly fishermen, they reached out to me on YouTube and said wasn't them. So I take them at their word. If they say it wasn't them, then it wasn't them. But either way, don't take down people's signs if they've booked swims out. That's just bad manners. It just winds everybody up. The Erne is big enough that we can all get on it and we can all have some fishing. But to the two fly guys that felt like I was accusing them, you know, I stand corrected. If you guys say you didn't do it, then I'll take you at your word. My cigar's now out. I've talked too much. Oh. Anyways, I'm going to finish my cigar and, well, I have no plans after my cigar. Might have a look up a coffee. See you in a bit. I'm going to show you a wee trick now. A wee trick that I do in the winter time to maybe help get some bites. In there, I don't know if you can see it, is some chopped fish, some krill pellets and some oil, fish oil, salmon oil on this occasion, but either way it's fish oil. And here is some salmon crumb. It's just fish flavoured ground bait. What we're going to do is we're going to mix some of the ground bait in here to get like a stodgy consistency. Remember, put all your rubbish away with you, don't leave it lying on the bank. And you don't need a whole lot, you don't need the whole bag. I'm only using a little bit here. This stuff stinks, by the way, so be careful where you're pouring it. So there you have some fish, and you're just basically moving your crumb around in the bottom of your fish. And you can add some more pellets if you want. In fact, I'm going to add some more pellets. These are 4mm krill pellets. And you don't need to go mad with them. But the thing with krill pellet, salmon crumb, it's all good mixes. It gets the fish, it gets them kind of excited. And what I'm going to do with this here, well, basically I'm going to put it in a PVA mesh stocking and I'm going to attach it to my baits when I cast them out. And this is going to create a big stinking mess, but the fish are going to like it and hopefully it's going to induce a take. Now, because I'm using ground bait, I'm using PVA, you don't want to use water because water and PVA don't go, so use some oil. And again, it's just a little bit at a time, you don't have to go crazy with it, you just want it at a nice consistency where it can be put into a PVA bag or a mesh stocking. Let it sit. Once you've got to that sort of consistency, let it sit for 10 minutes. Right, so here we are. We're going to give Mr. Eelhead some love. I'm going to make up a stick with our chopped fish, crumb and oil, and I'm going to attach that to the trace and cast it out with the eelhead. But I'm also going to give the eelhead some oil it can't hurt. So I'm not so sure how this is going to work, but here's how we do it. We have our PVA mesh. This stuff's from Nash, but any PVA mesh will do. The hardest part about this is doing it when it's dry, so it's not going to get all buggered up in the rain. Right, so we have our little tube with our PVA mesh outside it. Now what we're going to do is we didn't mean to do that quickly, but I kind of wanted it to be in a bit of a sausage that we can cast. This stuff smells really bad, really bad. What you use that wee plunger for is just to plunge it down, and now is where we should be able to plunge it all out into the sausage. And there we go. Take your little plunger out, and now we want to tie this into a knot. So we need to get a bit of slack here, and then we need to tie this into a big old knot. If I could do this, it would be awesome. So the first knot, there we go, and we need a second knot. You kind of want to do this quickly. Oh, come on. I can't believe I'm forgetting how to tie a knot here. Come on, dickhead. Right, bugger. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off, and I'll tie the knot at the other end myself. So we're going to put this back into the tube so it doesn't get wet. Well, we're going to tie a wee knot at the end of this first of all. There we go. Put it back into the tube so it doesn't get wet or destroyed. Put our plunger, kind of scrape off some of the crud. There we go, that should be dry. And now we have our little Stinky sausage. So I'm going to set this down here into the road. And I'm going to take my eel head on. There's still a lot of weed coming down the river, but it's all good. Right. Right, so we're going to clear the crap off the line, take the rubbish off our hooks. You know, you can see that's quite a nice size of a bait, you know. So we're going to lay it down flat here. I'm going to poke these holes again. Inject that with oil. Take our Stinky sausage, hook our Stinky sausage in behind here. And hook that bit into it as well. And now we're going to cast this. It won't be aerodynamic. It'll be a bit of a pain in the bum to cast. but the eel will be on the bottom, or and this is on the bottom. Right, so what'll happen, that eel will sink, the oil that's coming out of the eel will come out of the eel anyway, but you can just see a little flat spot, or I can see a little flat spot appearing. That's from the ground bait, the pellets, the chopped fish. That's basically a little stinky parcel of deliciousness for pike. So the pike that are sitting downstream, down that way, they're going to be sitting there and they're nice and they're chilled, and all of a sudden they're going to get this nice waft. It's like when a hot woman walks past you wearing nice perfume and you go, mmm, that smells like a little bit of something I could take. And then the pike hopefully will be drawn in to this spot and we'll get our pike. That's the plan.
2 hours later.
Oy, oy, oy. Right, I'm going to try a rainbow trout. There's trout all in this system, so I'm hoping that the smell will be something that the trout will recognise, or that the pike will recognise. I cut off the tails, that stops them spinning in the water. And then I stab the heads. That lets out a lot of blood, a lot of flavour, a lot of scent. Stay. And I'm going to put it out with one of my stinky sausages. Oi, oi, oi. I'm telling you, when you're under the umbrella, it's lovely. But see, when you're outside, that wind would cut through you. That wind would absolutely cut through you. Oh, right. Take off the crap from the line. Mr. Smelt has not worked, which is strange because Smelt are usually cracking bait here. So I'm going to put on Mr. Trout. There you go. Mr. Trout is on and ready to rock and roll. And our sausages are beginning to break up, so need to be quick. Need to be quick. This isn't going to be a big long cast. This is just going to be more of a lob like that there. And we're on the bottom. You don't have to fish miles and miles out to the river. That's relatively short in. The river kind of flows down here and then goes into a bend. So the force the river's coming through here, or it's coming from the islands, that's cleanish. So the river will come around here, the main flow will be on the outside of the river, and it'll come to that bend where that marker is, where the boat is, and just go straight into the marina. So this side here, this whole bank here, is kind of almost like dead water. It's like slack water. Now when the water's moving, Slack water is where the fish like to be. So the fish will be quite happy sitting on these margins, so you don't have to neglect the margins. I mean, you can see by the topography of the ground, those hills, when those hills come in, those hills will come into the river at the same angle. Whereas if you look over here, it's flat. So this will be the shallower area of the river, whereas that cut there in the far bank will be the deeper area of the river. See, fishing with scobes, it's almost like an education. Right. In fact, Mr. Smelt can get... I'll leave him here in case I need to change a bait. Just because the bait's been in the water for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour or 2 hours doesn't mean that you have to throw the bait away. The bait's still perfectly good. You know, you just don't have to go nuts and, you know, chuck it away. So now I'm going to try not to sink in this swamp here. Get some water. Just clean out my mixing tray. This is an old bait tub. Whenever I'm mixing up like the sticks that you see me throw, I use this. That way it can be, you know, it can be cleaned relatively easy, and you're not making a mess. You know. Ready for the next time. You're not going to believe this. I've just recast this and filled it full of oil, and it's at the bottom, and we're in. This is the second pike I've had today. The first one, you didn't get to see footage of it, because as soon as I picked the fucker up, spat the hooks, twisted, slashed my thumb, and I dropped it back in. But as it's only a smaller fish, it's around about the same sort of size as this one, but I'm going to use the net this time because I can't be bothered wrestling with baby pike. Oh, there we go. So, 2 pike so far. One wound. Shit. I'm just going to unclip this. Oh, come on. So that the trace can stay with the pike until I get the net collapsed. It looks like I'm having to take everything with me anyway. Ah well, fucking everything's coming with me. Aye. Over to the unhooking mat. Where the fish can be unhooked. Hooking tools. This guy isn't actually hooked that well, he's just hooked in the mouth here, the bottom lip. Right, come on you. There we go, and that's him unhooked. And I'm going to take everything else out of the way now. Calm down. Calm down, son. Calm down. This is why I like this unhooking mat. The Pike can do its thrashing. That's just a fat wee jack. It can do its thrashing, and you can take it back to the water. That's a £4. £4 if we're lucky. And away he goes. And they got the bit back. Awesome. And the trout survives for another day. Well, for another cast. So we're just going to cast that one right back out to where we put it the last time. There we go. Nice, same spot. Then we can go and sort out the tangle fest that is the other rod. I'll turn you off for a second. My other rod is tangled, so I'm going to have to detangle the net, the rod and everything else. Whoopee. Anyway, not a blank. Well, that was a busy 20 minutes. 2 pike, both jacks, all the same bit. No, one wasn't a smelt. Was it? I can't remember. I'll get back to you. But no, so the first pike, there wasn't really any footage of. Well, there was no footage of, because as soon as I picked up the trace, because it was only a small pike, I picked up the trace, got my hand under the gill, it flipped, the hook came out, and it slashed with them. So no photographs or no footage of pike number 1. But I got pike number 2 on the head-mounted GoPro. So at least there's footage of fish being caught. Here I am, and now I'm editing the video. I've realised that there was no clip saying it's pissing with rain, I'm going home. Mainly because it was pissing with rain and I wanted to get the stuff in the van and go home. So now I'm at home. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has liked, subscribed, left comments and did all the the necessary YouTube stuff. I hope everyone that's seen the video, that the whole like, subscribe, do it now, and all that sort of stuff, understands that's comedy. I'm not actually going to come to your door, kick you in the nuts, and make you subscribe. No, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, tight lines, guys. Oh, look. That's the pike that's ate me. I swear, little jack pike are the worst, man.